let's talk about streaming services versus theaters. Now, a few years ago, until a few years ago, whenever a new movie came out, everyone rushed to the theaters to watch it because that was honestly the most accessible way, depending on the place you're in, to watch the movies. Especially since the movies that came out, they weren't really available on streaming services till later. But then the pandemic happened, and that changed everything. People weren't going to the theaters, and the new trend started emerging of streaming services, movies being launched on streaming services. Now this is a big deal, and honestly, well, they did it because they didn't have a choice. Yes, they probably took a profit hit. I mean, I don't think you can really get the same amount of profit from the streaming service as much as you would get in theater. Depends on the movie, I guess, but big budget movies, they need to be in theaters. But they didn't have a choice, and we started seeing movies get launched in streaming services. Now, then the pandemic ended, and people started going back to movie theaters. Well, the movie started opening back up, and it was okay to go again. But this trend of streaming services launching movies didn't really stop. We started seeing a lot of movies just come on this platform rather than get released in theaters. Well, smaller budget movies, I guess, because I think it would have been pretty equal, depending on the type of movie, whether the movie theater would be able to make that much money over the streaming service. But honestly, this feels like this is creating a new problem of people not wanting to go to movie theaters anymore, because you're getting a lot of new movies in streaming services, and you're getting all the TV series that you love on these services, and when you because of that, there isn't really much of a reason to go to theaters, depending on the person. I mean, yes, there are some big blockbusters that you have to experience in the theaters, like Avengers movies or Avatar or things like that. But for everything else, I think people are willing to wait until these movies come on the stream services and watch at home on their TVs. I mean, people are now starting to buy bigger TVs. They are more affordable, bigger TVs, and people are buying them, and they're getting a similar experience. And depending on the place, tickets might be expensive and not worth it to go and watch there. I mean, if you're paying for a 1-year subscription or a streaming service, you're gonna get that movie 3 months, maybe 2 months after the release, and people are okay with that. Now the problem with this is what's gonna happen to movie theaters in the future, because there are a lot of independent movie theaters out there that rely on a continuous revenue from new movies coming out, even smaller movies, and they're not going to get that revenue anymore. I mean, yes, there are going to be some blockbusters every once in a while, but it's not going to be all the time. And is that honestly really sustainable for movie theaters? I don't know. Now, for the movie theaters in certain malls, maybe they won't have a problem because people are going to the mall anyway, and they might get people to get in there because of that. But individual movie theaters, that's gonna be a problem, and there's a high possibility that movie theaters might die out sometime, because there's just too much convenience in stream services. You can pause the movie whenever you want. A lot of movies are coming out. You get all the TV series in there, and you can pause and play and get all the catalogs. And depending on the country, the prices are pretty decent as well. So yeah, this is a big issue for theaters, and it's kind of sad considering that just a few years ago, going to a movie theater was a big deal. It was like an event, even for normal movies. But now, it's not really, it doesn't really seem like that. And I don't know how this is gonna end. I mean, if the movie theater shut down, that would be sad, and for they're all business owners, so it would be a big hit for them. A big hit in terms of things going bad. And I hope that doesn't happen, but there seems to be a high risk of that happening sometime in the future. But let's wait and see. Maybe there's some kind of a new strategy that comes out that makes people want to go to theaters. But as of now, I don't know. Doesn't seem all that certain. I mean, even I don't really go to watch that many movies in theaters anymore. I don't feel the need to do that. Certain movies, because I want to avoid spoilers, I go to the theaters early. But other movies, I wait and see, and if it's okay or just okay, I wait for it to come on streaming service and watch it. So yeah, that's the situation, and let's see what happens.